you touch the setup button, basically I suggest touching your setup button after you pull into the field and you're ready to plant, and make sure that the field name, corn hybrids, and population is set correctly. So up here with planter, field name up there, if the field name in there is not what I want, you can change the active field from the 2020 or from the Field View app on the iPad. But if I touch on that box, I can see a list of fields. In the upper left are clients, in the upper right are farms. Here are my fields. If I want to make a different field active, touch it. And on the right side it says make active. If I touch make active, it'll then make that field active. If I hit home right now,
did not change the field.
Demo field is still active, it did not change it. Corn hybrids, down here, if I go to my crops tab, and if I change my crop to soybeans, now it says soybeans varieties. So if I have corn in the planter, and it says soybean varieties, I know I better go change my crop. So we'll change the crop to corn. Go back to the plant tab. Now you can assign up to 4 active hybrids at once. So some of you might have the same hybrid across all your rows. Some of you might have a half planter with each hybrid, have 2. Some of you might have, whatever, 3 rows of refuge and the rest of your rows GMO. However it's set up, if you touch this corn hybrids box, basically you can change things, and then this toolbar down at the bottom with the pink rows will match what colors you assign. Alright, so I touch here. Right now that cal number is assigned to all rows. So if I want to change that, I can touch in here where it says hybrid A. Now I can add a hybrid. Now there's a list of hybrids already loaded in here. Also on Field View, and we'll show that there's a list of hybrids. So you can change the active hybrid from either place. 14R38. G14R38 3000 GT. Okay. It's going to default to 80,000 seeds per unit. If I want to add some of these other metrics, I can, but it's not really going to change anything as far as how the system works. So from here, I want to hit enter. What rows do I have that hybrid on? I can select all, left or right. If I already have one assigned, I can touch others, or if I have this one on something other than all left or right, I can touch list. And then they're all X'd out, whichever ones I touch on, it's going to make active. So I hit enter. Now I've got that on those 3 rows, these are grayed out. So now I can touch hybrid B. Add a hybrid. Add whatever that one is. Now here, I can go and do the others, and it would go on the rest, or if you touch list and touch on the other 13 rows, it would assign it. So there I see my colors. If that picture physically matches what I've loaded on the planter, go home, and then if I touch setup, you can see it lists what I've got. So I want to make sure the right field is active. I want to make sure my hybrids or varieties are assigned correctly. Population box, single setting over on the right. Whatever you've set your planter to plant, you're going to touch set point 1. Type in whatever population you physically set the planter to, 34,500 let's say, enter. Now it's going to monitor based on that number. So my population alarm, if I get to 80% of 34.5 or 120, it's going to audibly make a sound. If I get 1,000 seeds high or low, or 2,000, depending what I have my limit set at, the box will turn yellow. I pull into another field, I'm going to plant 32,000. I want to hit my setup, then here on population, touch that, set point 1, type in 32,000, enter. Now it's going to monitor off of that. If I set it to 34.5, plant a field, go to the next field, change my transmission to 32, and start planting, with only monitoring here, it doesn't affect what happens, but that box, your population box, will immediately be yellow as you start planting. You might be planting the correct population, but because you didn't tell the 2020 you were doing something different, it's going to turn yellow. All these other ones are for if you're variable rating or planting seed corn, that type of thing. Right, so basically, before every field, if you look at those 3 boxes and make sure they're assigned correctly, it's going to do multiple things. It's going to keep track of units of seed correctly, put all the data in the right field, monitor correctly, but most of all, on field view, your maps are going to be correct and accurate.